My parents gave my bedroom to my unemployed brother and his pregnant girlfriend after I paid their bills for 3 years, so I left and took everything. I'm 26, work in construction management, and today I finally understood what family meant. I've been carrying these people for the past 3 years. Mortgage, utilities, groceries, repairs, it's all been me. Dad's been on disability since his back went out at the warehouse. Mom can't leave the house without having anxiety issues. My brother got a PhD in job hopping and collecting unemployment benefits. Growing up, I was always the reliable, responsible one. While my brother was out getting high behind the Dairy Queen, I was working summers doing roofing with Dad's crew. I learned early that work meant money, and money meant freedom. I went to community college for construction management while living at home, saving every penny. I had a typical plan: graduate, get a good job, move out, and start my life. Then life happened. Dad's injury came right when I was about to sign a lease on my own place. I had the deposit saved, the first month's rent ready, and my boxes packed. One phone call changed everything. Dad was crying on the phone, actually in tears, saying they were going to lose the house. Mom was having panic attacks so bad she couldn't function. My brother was nowhere to be found, probably passed out on some friend's couch. So I unpacked those boxes, used my apartment money for their mortgage, and told myself it was temporary, just until Dad got back on his feet, until Mom stabilized, until my brother grew the hell up. 3 years later, I'm still waiting. Anyways, the other night I was eating questionable Chinese takeout when Mom called. She only calls when someone's dead or she needs something. Nobody was dead. Your brother's coming home with his girlfriend, she said. She's pregnant. I stirred my lo mein, waiting for the catch. They'll need the bedroom. You can take the garage for a while. Not asking, telling. The garage where normal people store lawnmowers and Christmas decorations. Concrete floor, one electrical outlet, and whatever weather decides to blow through the gaps. How long? I asked. Just temporary, right? Everything has been temporary for 3 years. Dad's disability checks, Mom's anxiety, my brother's constant job changes, everything except the bills I've been paying every month. I said, all right, and hung up because what else was I going to say? Start a fight? Argue about fairness? That's not how this family works. My brother's always been the golden child, the one who gets rescued, accommodated, and forgiven. I learned years ago that pushing back just gets you labeled as the difficult one, the selfish one, the one who doesn't understand family loyalty. So I said, okay, but started doing the math. 4 adults about to live off what I provide, while I get relocated to a concrete box with a space heater. The thing is, after what happened with Dad, I took over everything. The whole house runs on my paycheck while they live rent-free. What made it worse is that I was good at it. Too good. I made it look easy. Mortgage payments always on time. Fridge always stocked. Utilities never getting shut off. They forgot what struggle felt like because I absorbed all of it. I became their human shock absorber for every financial hit. Now I'm about to lose my bedroom because my brother couldn't figure out birth control. At 26 years old, making decent money, I'm about to sleep in a garage because family planning apparently means planning to be someone else's problem. That night, I sat in my room, soon to be their room, and really looked around. Furniture I bought, the computer setup I need for work, the bathroom I renovated myself on weekends, all about to become property of my unemployed brother and whatever her name is. I started calling her Princess in my head, never bothering to learn her real name. So I began browsing apartments online. Just looking, I told myself. But something had shifted. This wasn't about a bedroom anymore. It was about 3 years of being treated like a resource instead of a person. In the afternoon, they rolled up. My brother showed up with Princess, and their entire life packed into 2 garbage bags. He didn't own a proper suitcase but thought he was ready for fatherhood. She was maybe 22, with that entitled look young girls get when they think pregnancy makes them special. Already talking about nursery colors and baby names before she'd even unpacked. She walked in, already planning where she'd put her stuff in my room, measuring walls with her phone, talking about where the crib would go. My brother settled on the couch, talking about how grateful they were, like showing up was some kind of achievement. "This is perfect," Princess said, standing in my bedroom doorway. "The natural light is amazing for the baby." My natural light in my bedroom for their baby. I didn't talk to them. I just grabbed my essentials and moved to the garage. I left everything behind. There was nothing else in the room except my gaming setup. Let them think they hit the jackpot. They'd learn soon enough what things cost when you can't maintain them. The garage was exactly what you'd expect. A concrete floor, no insulation, and one outlet that probably violates building codes. An ancient couch was probably hosting its own ecosystem. The window didn't close, so whatever weather felt like visiting became my weather too. I set up my sleeping bag on that diseased couch, plugged in the space heater that sounded like it was dying, and sat there in the dark, listening to them upstairs moving my stuff around, getting comfortable in my space, and watching my TV on my Netflix account. I could hear his girlfriend squealing about the walk-in closet. The walk-in closet I built last year, expanding what used to be a regular closet. I spent 3 weekends framing it out, hanging drywall, and installing shelves for myself. Now it was storage for maternity clothes from Walmart. That's when it hit me. This wasn't temporary for them. They'd found their newest mark, their latest solution to avoid real life. And I'd been enabling it for 3 years. Hell no. I started making real plans that night, browsing apartments and calculating exactly what it would take to extract myself. I had bank accounts they didn't know about and automatic payments set up. I could stop utilities in my name that could disappear. Week 1 was subtle. They were still riding high on their new setup and didn't notice the changes. I stopped being helpful. When you've been everyone's go-to problem solver for 3 years, that's actually radical. Monday morning, Princess approaches me as I'm heading to work. The coffee maker isn't working right. I look at her, look at the coffee maker, look back at her, say nothing, and walk out. All I was thinking about was who told her I was the one who fixed things in this house to directly approach me like that. I used to be. I'd spend 10 minutes diagnosing the problem, cleaning the mineral deposits, and explaining how to maintain it. But not anymore. She can figure out why the water tastes weird, or drink instant coffee. Not my problem. On Tuesday, my mom mentions the kitchen faucet is dripping. I'm reading the news on my phone at the table. She mentions it again louder, thinking I didn't hear. I heard. I just don't care anymore. That faucet's been dripping for 2 weeks. It used to drive me crazy, so I'd fix it immediately. New washers, tighten the packing nut, done in 5 minutes. Now it can drip until the basement floods for all I care. That day I spent my lunch break looking at apartments online. Everything decent was way out of my price range when I'm supporting 4 people. Studio apartments were going for what I used to think was reasonable rent, back when I only had to worry about myself. It made me realize how deep in the hole I really was. I went back home and found my brother's car held together by rust and prayer. It started making grinding noises in the driveway. He was standing there, hood up, staring at the engine, waiting for divine intervention. "Any idea what that sound is?" I asked. "Expensive," I said. He laughed, waiting for me to come diagnose it and fix it for free. That's how it always worked. His car breaks down. He'd call me over to spend my Saturday under the hood with my tools, solving his problems. Now he didn't even need to call. I was right there. I walked past him into the garage, leaving him still standing there, still waiting. Friday was the crown jewel. The washing machine died mid-cycle. It just stopped. Water was sitting there, clothes floating. Princess tried again, and found me in the garage doing push-ups because what else is there to do in a concrete box? "The washer's broken." "Yep, it's full of water and clothes." "Can you?" "Nope." She was staring at me, waiting for the old script where I'd jump up, grab tools, and spend my Friday night fixing their problems. Probably a bad pump or clogged drain line. "That guy's dead. I killed him myself." "What are we supposed to do?" she asked. I knew my mom told her to ask me. Adult things. "Figure it out," I said. They ended up calling a repair guy who charged them $200 to install the same part I would have done for cost. Princess complained about the expense while wearing my old bedroom slippers, sitting in my chair in my room. Week 2, the house started showing real neglect. Amazing how fast things fall apart when you stop maintaining them. The dripping faucet became a stream. The toilet ran constantly. That water bill was going to be fun. The space heater in the garage died completely, leaving me with just my sleeping bag and whatever warmth anger provides. My brother noticed the shift. He tried bonding over coffee one night. His treat, he says, like a latte makes up for stealing my bedroom. We sat on the back porch, him attempting to make conversation about work, sports, anything normal. "What's your deal lately?" he asked. "No deal. You seem different." "I'm exactly the same. Just not your maintenance guy." "Come on, man. We're family." "Family? That's what people say when they want something for free," I said bluntly, knowing he wouldn't get offended. He's not self-aware, or he just goes quiet, processing it. I know you've been helping us out. Helping out? I laughed. That's what you call it? Helping out like I occasionally chip in $20 for pizza? You know what I mean? I know exactly what you mean. You mean I've been paying for your entire existence while you contribute nothing, and somehow that's just called helping out. We drank in silence until he gave up and went back inside. Back to my room. Back to his pregnant girlfriend and his rent-free life. Week 3, things got interesting. The water heater started making horror movie sounds. Mom cornered me in the kitchen one Saturday morning. The hot water's not working. I poured myself some coffee and said nothing. Did you hear me? She asked. Yep. Are you going to look at it? Nope. Why not? Because I'm not the super. I'm a tenant. A garage tenant. She looked hurt, talking about how we're all struggling here. You're struggling. I'm just living in a garage. The water heater probably has sediment buildup. It needs flushing or maybe a new heating element. It's a $100 job if you know what you're doing, but I'm done knowing what I'm doing for other people's problems. Dad tried the masculine approach that night. He caught me coming back from the gym. Yeah, I joined a gym. I needed somewhere to shower with actual hot water. We need to talk, son. Okay, you're changing. I know it's a bit stressful, but your brother needs help. We're family. I've been helping for 3 years. Mortgage, utilities, groceries, repairs, everything. This is different, he said. You're right. This is me stopping. You can't just stop. Watch me. I walked away. He wanted to argue, but what was he going to say? That I'm obligated to fund their lives while I'm sleeping in a garage? That it's normal for one person to carry 4 adults indefinitely? He knew he had nothing. The house felt different. Tension was everywhere except in the garage. My concrete palace was peaceful. Cold as hell, but peaceful. At least no one asked me for anything out here. No one expected miracles. No one took my silence as agreement to fix their latest crisis. Upstairs, they were realizing what they lost. Things were breaking without their free maintenance guy. Bills were coming due without their automatic payment system. 4 adults trying to live off 2 disability checks and whatever spare change my brother made between jobs. I knew they were spiraling because I could hear Mom and my brother talking in the kitchen. Their voices carried down here because this place has the insulation of a cardboard box. He's been acting weird lately, my brother said. Real attitude problem. I've noticed, Mom replied. Ever since we asked him to take the garage temporarily, you'd think we were asking him to sleep outside, right? It's not like we're kicking him out, just making room for the baby. Some people just can't handle change. Always been difficult about things not going his way. I was listening to this conversation about my attitude problem while sitting on a moldy couch, wearing a jacket because there was no heat. The attitude problem of the guy who's been paying their mortgage for 3 years. The next morning, Mom cornered me in the kitchen before work. I was grabbing coffee, trying to get out the door when she blocked my path. We need to talk about your attitude lately. My attitude? What? Mom, am I a teenager? You should be grateful we let you stay at all. She continued, always making things difficult. It's just a couple of nights in the garage. Stop being selfish. I held my coffee mug, looking at this woman who hasn't paid a bill in 3 years, telling me to be grateful for sleeping in an unheated garage in the house I keep running. The golden child gets my room, and I should be grateful for concrete and mold. You're right, I said. I should be grateful. After they realized there was no other option but to handle things themselves, I started noticing them rationing everything. Cheaper toilet paper, generic cereal, lights getting turned off when they left rooms. During that time, I moved my tools to a storage unit across town, started buying groceries just for me, keeping them in a cooler in the garage, set up mail forwarding to a P.O. box, and scheduled utility disconnections for month's end. Finally, I signed a lease on a 1-bedroom apartment across town. It's a nice place on the 2nd floor, with actual heating, a bathroom that's mine alone, and a balcony overlooking the park. It's crazy how appealing basic dignity becomes when you've been sleeping in a garage. The apartment hunt was honestly therapeutic. Every place I looked at, I thought about what it would cost to maintain just for myself. Utilities for 1 person, groceries for 1 person, cable bills split 0 ways. The math was beautiful. What I'd been spending on 4 people would let me live comfortably alone with money left over. The house was collapsing systematically. The water heater died completely. There was no hot water for anyone. Toilets were still running, wasting water, hundreds of gallons daily. The kitchen faucets started flooding the basement every few days. Surprisingly, my brother found a job at a grocery store, but he lasted only 11 days before getting fired for calling in sick 3 times. Princess was getting bigger, more demanding, and more expensive. She started having cravings that required immediate attention and my gas money. "We need pickles and ice cream," she announced at 9 p.m. I told her, "Sounds like a you problem, but I'm pregnant, not my kid. He's your nephew. You're being really unsupportive." "I'm being really honest." She stormed off to find my brother, who would figure out how to get to the store without a working car. Usually that meant begging rides from neighbors or walking 3 miles. I also started noticing them eating a lot of ramen noodles, opting for discount brands. Princess complained about not being able to afford prenatal vitamins, while my brother tried to fix his car with YouTube videos and prayer. Mom and Dad were learning what it actually costs to run a household. 3 years of me handling everything meant they had forgotten basic math. The mortgage payment was $1,400, and utilities added another $300. They couldn't cover groceries for 4 adults. Forget it. And I was enjoying my time. Not going to lie. I couldn't hide the smirk on my face. Then Dad tried having a financial meeting one evening. He called it a family discussion about shared responsibilities. We set up at the kitchen table with a notepad and calculator. "We need to talk about expenses," he started. "We do," I said. "Maybe everyone could contribute something." I reminded them that I had been contributing everything for 3 years. "But with the baby coming," I cut him off, saying, "Not my baby," for the millionth time. "That's not the point." "Then what is the point?" He fumbled with his notepad, trying to find words that would make this my problem again. "We're family. We should help each other." I did help. I paid for everything while you lived for free. Now I'm done. You can't just abandon us. I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm sleeping in a garage. "You abandoned me first." Princess perked up from the couch. "We never asked you to pay for everything." I turned to look at her. "Really, look at her. You never asked because you never had to. It just happened. And once it started, you made sure it kept happening." "That's not fair," she said. "Fair?" I replied. "You're sitting in my chair in my room, wearing my bathrobe, complaining about expenses in a house I pay for. Let's talk about fair." Mom started crying, though I didn't know why exactly. Princess huffed upstairs. My brother just sat there, probably doing the math on how many packs of cigarettes he could buy if he skipped out on the bills. That's when Dad pulled out a piece of paper. "I've been running numbers. If we all contribute equally—" "Dad, stop," I said. "Just hear me out. If we split everything 4 ways," he continued, "it would only be about $600 each." I was done with that. I cut him off again. "Dad, look around. Look at this house. Look at your unemployed son and his pregnant girlfriend. Look at your wife who can't work. Look at yourself on disability. Where exactly is $600 times 4 supposed to come from?" And let me tell you, the silence was beautiful. Pure mathematics cutting through 3 years of delusion. After that life-changing meeting, I kept moving stuff out piece by piece. Nothing obvious, nothing they'd notice. Important documents, valuable tools, anything I actually needed. I left the furniture, the TV, and anything they'd grown dependent on. I started working overtime, banking every penny. Not because I needed it. Supporting one person is easy when you've been supporting 4, but I wanted options. I wanted to walk away clean. I wanted to be able to disappear completely if necessary. The morning I planned to leave for good, I stopped by early to grab the last of my things. That's when I saw something that changed everything. A college kid, maybe 20, was standing in the driveway with my brother. They were walking toward the garage, my brother gesturing around like he was showing off premium real estate. I parked down the street and watched. My brother was giving this kid the full tour of my garage, pointing out the electrical outlet as a premium feature, showcasing the concrete floor, even demonstrating the broken space heater that had left me freezing for weeks. "Rustic living space," I heard him say. "Perfect for a student budget." The kid was nodding, taking pictures with his phone, looking interested. My brother had that salesman smile he uses when he's conning someone. The same smile he used to borrow $2,000 from me 3 years ago for emergency car repairs that became a down payment on a jet ski he sold 2 months later. The kid was asking about parking, about access to the house, about whether utilities were included. My brother was answering like he owned the place, talking about shared kitchen privileges and laundry access, making promises with resources that weren't his. I walked over, keeping it casual. "What is happening here?" The kid looked confused. My brother looked caught red-handed. "Just showing him the space," he said. "What space?" "The garage for rent." I stared at him like, what the actual hell? This absolute piece of work was trying to rent out my garage, the concrete box he'd sentenced me to, the place I'd been sleeping in while paying for his existence. "How much you asking?" I demanded. $450 a month, utilities included," he replied. $450 for a garage with no insulation, one outlet, and a broken space heater. The same garage that wasn't good enough for him and his pregnant girlfriend, but suddenly premium enough to charge rent. The kid was pulling out his phone, probably to Venmo a deposit. My brother was counting money in his head, planning what video games he'd buy with his new income stream. I obviously couldn't let this happen. "Kid, walk away." "This isn't legal," I said. "What do you mean?" he asked. "He doesn't own this property, can't rent what isn't his." But he says a lot of things, none of them true. "You want a garage to live in? Find one that's actually for rent." The kid looked between us, realized he'd stepped into family drama, and left fast. Smart kid. My brother started sputtering about needing income for the baby and temporary arrangements. "You kicked me out of my bedroom and put me in a garage. Now you're trying to rent that garage for profit," I said. "It's not like that." "Then what's it like?" "You're leaving anyway." "How'd you know that?" He shut up, realizing he'd said too much. Someone had been going through my stuff, noticing things missing. Instead of asking me about it like a normal person, he decided to capitalize on it. I tried to calm myself down before I smashed his face. "You went through my things. Mom noticed some stuff was gone, so you decided to rent out my current living space." "It's not your space," he scoffed. "I pay the mortgage on this house every month." 3 years. "That doesn't mean it's yours." The beautiful part was his logic. The garage wasn't good enough for him and his girlfriend, but it was good enough to rent to some college kid for profit. They needed my bedroom for their comfort, but my discomfort was a business opportunity. I left him standing there and went inside. I found my parents in the kitchen drinking coffee I'd paid for in a house I'd kept running, discussing their day like everything was normal. "So your son's trying to rent out the garage?" I casually dropped. Apparently they had no idea what their golden baby was doing. Mom looked confused. "Rent it to who?" "Random college student. $450 a month for the space he stuck me in." Dad's face changed. "What?" I told him. Same concrete box that wasn't good enough for his pregnant girlfriend is suddenly premium real estate when there's money involved. The truth hit them hard. They'd been so focused on accommodating my brother in his pregnancy situation that they'd forgotten who kept this house running. Now their unemployed son was trying to profit off space belonging to the person paying for everything. Dad's eyes went wide as he calculated what losing me would actually mean. No mortgage payments, no utilities, no safety net. They had nothing saved, nowhere to go, no backup plan. Dad started, then stopped. No good way to finish that sentence. Entrepreneurial. I suggested creative problem solving and innovative revenue generation. "That idiot's trying to illegally rent out your property," he said, the words coming out strangled. "If you call the cops or a lawyer—" He didn't finish the sentence, but I could see him spiraling. 3 years of letting me carry them. And now his unemployed son was actively committing fraud that could land them all in legal trouble while simultaneously sabotaging the one person keeping them off the street. "Where is he?" Dad asked. "Driveway. Probably posting the listing online already." Mom was shaking her head. "He wouldn't. He would. He did. He is." Dad stood up, and for the first time in months, I saw actual anger on his face. Not at me, but at the situation, at my brother, at himself for letting it get this far. "This is your house. You pay for it. We've been—" He trailed off, looking for words that wouldn't make them sound completely parasitic. "Taking advantage." "The phrase you're looking for is taking advantage," I said. Mom started crying again. But these weren't manipulation tears. These were realization tears. The kind that come when you see yourself clearly and don't like the view. "We didn't mean for it to get like this. Nobody ever means for it to get like this, but here we are. We thought it was temporary. We thought we'd get back on our feet." "When?" "It's been 3 years. When exactly were you planning to get back on your feet?" They all shut up because there was no plan. There never had been a plan. They just found a solution that worked for them and decided it was permanent. Dad headed out. I walked back outside to find my brother still in the driveway, now on his phone. He was probably looking up tenant rights or something, trying to figure out how to make this work. Maybe he was calling other college kids, seeing if he could spark a bidding war for my concrete palace. I stepped off the property and said, "What?" He looked caught off guard. "Get off my property now. You can't just—" "I can. I do. I am." Mom and Dad had followed me out, and Princess appeared in the doorway, drawn by the commotion. The whole family had gathered for what felt like the final show. "This is insane," my brother said, looking to our parents for backup. "You're seriously kicking me out over this?" "I'm not kicking you out yet, but you're not renting my garage to anyone. It's not your garage. Everything here is mine. The house, the garage, the food in the fridge, the electricity you're using to charge that phone. All mine, paid for by me, your guest." Princess decided to chime in from the doorway. "We have rights. You have nothing. No lease, no rental agreement, no rights. You're here because I allow it. You can't evict a pregnant woman." Her voice cracked. "I'm not evicting anyone. I'm preventing your boyfriend from illegally subletting space he doesn't own." Dad finally spoke up. "She's right about the ownership. This is his house." My brother looked betrayed. "You're taking his side?" he shouted at our dad. "There's no sides. There's just facts. He pays for everything. We contribute nothing. Now you're trying to profit off his generosity. It's not like that." "Then explain it. Explain how renting out my sleeping space for profit while I pay for your life isn't exactly that." My brother started stammering about responsibility and contributing to household expenses and trying to help. All I saw was an opportunity for him to make money off my misery, and he took it. "Here's what really happened," I said. "You found out I'm leaving. Instead of asking why or trying to fix the situation, you decided to monetize my replacement, rent out the garage to someone else, pocket the money, keep living for free. That's not—" I cut him off. "That's exactly it. You were planning to collect rent from some college kid while still not contributing anything to actual expenses. The garage makes money, but the mortgage still gets paid by magic." Silence. Even Princess had nothing to say. I watched them all standing there hopeless. "3 options," I said. "You ready?" Everyone nodded. "Option 1, you want to stay? Fine. Market rate, rent, utilities, groceries, everything gets split 4 ways equally. Every month." "We can't afford that," my brother protested. "Option 2, 60 days to find other arrangements. I'll even help with moving costs." "Clean break, no hard feelings?" "60 days isn't enough," the girlfriend tried to argue. I cut her off. "Option 3, I leave tonight. Stop paying the mortgage. Stop paying utilities. You figure it out. The house goes into foreclosure in 3 months. You're all on the street by Christmas." The math was sinking in. A 4-way split on a $1,400 mortgage plus utilities plus food would need about $600 each monthly. Doable for working adults. Impossible for their current situation.
Can we think about it?
Mom asked. "You can think for 60 seconds. I've got places to be." Dad looked at Mom. Mom looked at my brother. My brother looked at Princess. Princess looked at her phone, probably calculating what apartments cost in their price range. "The 60 days, Mom finally said. "We'll take the 60 days. "Smart choice," I replied. My brother wasn't done. He still had that entrepreneurial spirit. "We're family." "Family? You moved your pregnant girlfriend into my bedroom, stuck me in a garage, then tried to rent that garage for profit. That's not family. That's a slumlord," I shot back, "and I'm not joking. I was trying to help with expenses by pocketing rent money." "How does that help anyone but you?" Princess tugged his arm from the doorway. "Let's just go." But I wasn't finished. 3 years of swallowed words were coming up. "You know what family does? Family says thank you. Family contributes. Family doesn't treat one member as a servant while they live for free. We appreciate—" "No, you don't. You expected it. You felt entitled to it. You got so comfortable with me paying for everything that you forgot it wasn't normal." Dad stepped forward. "He's right. We forgot. I forgot. 3 years of letting you carry us while we—" He shrugged. "But I was injured 3 years ago. What's your excuse now?" That shut him up. Mom was sobbing. My brother looked ready to hit something, but he was smart enough to know I'd hit back harder. Princess was calculating, probably figuring out which parent they'd move in with next. 60 days, I repeated. "Starting tomorrow, I'll pay the bills one more time. After that, you're on your own." "Where will we go?" Mom asked. "That's the beauty of being adults. You get to figure it out." I walked back to my truck, done with the whole situation. I'm done with the drama. I'm done being their solution. But my brother had one last chance to take. "You're going to regret this. When the baby comes, when we need help, you're going to regret burning this bridge." I turned back one last time. I didn't burn anything. I just stopped being the bridge. And that was that. 2 months later, I'm typing this from my actual apartment. It's a 2nd-floor unit with real heat, my own bathroom, and a bedroom with a door that locks. I have a balcony overlooking the park where I drink coffee every morning without anyone asking me to fix anything. The luxury of basic privacy hits different when you've been sleeping in a garage. The family found a place, a 2-bedroom duplex across town. The rent is about $900 split 4 ways. Manageable when everyone contributes. My brother's working nights at a warehouse, the same kind of job Dad had before his back went out. It turns out he's capable of holding a job when his survival depends on it. Funny how motivation works. Princess had the baby, a healthy kid with 10 fingers and 10 toes. There's zero chance of me babysitting. They named him after our grandfather, probably hoping to score some family points. Mom got part-time work at a craft store. It turns out her anxiety is manageable when staying home isn't an option. Dad's doing consulting work from home, using skills he'd forgotten when someone else was paying the bills. They're struggling, of course. That's what happens when you suddenly have to adult after a 3-year vacation. But they're managing, surviving, and learning what things actually cost when you have to pay for them yourself. I got a text from my brother last week. Rent's due tomorrow and we're short $40. I didn't respond. Not my problem anymore. Mom calls monthly with updates I didn't ask for. She tells me how the baby is doing, what new words he's learning, and how they're managing their budget. She always sounds surprised that they're making it work, like the idea of paying their own way was some impossible concept. Dad texts occasionally with home repair questions, random stuff like a leaky faucet, a squeaky door, or a furnace making noises. I answer sometimes if I'm feeling generous, but usually I just send YouTube links. The house got sold. I couldn't afford it alone, and I didn't want to anyway. Too many memories of being treated as an ATM with a toolbox. The bank took their cut, the realtor got theirs, and we split what was left. It wasn't much after the mortgage and fees, but it was closure. I also bought my motorcycle with part of that money, and used the rest to furnish my apartment exactly how I wanted it. No compromises, no group decisions, no considering anyone else's needs. Pure selfishness felt incredible after 3 years of pure selflessness. My brother tried reconciling last month. He showed up at my apartment with takeout and an apology. I let him in, grabbed some plates, and listened to his speech about family, mistakes, and second chances. He claimed he finally understood what they'd done to me and how they treated me. I told him he understood that he had to work now, which was different from actually getting it. His apology was noted and acknowledged, but understanding comes from experience, not necessity. He talked about how hard it's been adjusting to actual responsibility, paying bills, budgeting, and making choices between wants and needs. All the things I'd been handling for them while they lived in fantasy land. He asked if we were done, if there was no more family and that he needs an uncle for his son. I explained that we're still family, but family doesn't mean what he thought it meant. It doesn't mean one person carries everyone else. It means everyone carries their own weight and helps when someone stumbles. They hadn't stumbled. They'd sat down and expected me to carry them forever. He finished his food in silence. When he left, he shook my hand. Adults do that. Equals do that. Last week, I got a text from Dad. Fixed the kitchen sink myself today. Watched 3 YouTube videos. It took 4 hours, but I did it. I didn't respond, but I saved the message. Progress is progress, even when it comes 3 years late. As for me, I'm living exactly the life I should have been living 3 years ago. My own space, my own rules, my own money. No one treating my paycheck like community property. The apartment is quiet most nights. I come home from work, cook what I want to eat, watch what I want to watch, and go to bed when I'm tired. Simple things feel revolutionary when you've been everyone else's solution for years. My brother texts occasionally now, updates about the baby, work stories, random stuff, normal brother things. He's not asking for money or favors or someone to fix his problems. He's just talking. It's progress. Last month, I drove past their duplex. I saw my brother in the yard with the baby, Dad working on their front steps, and Mom hanging laundry on a line. A normal family doing normal family things. No one waiting for someone else to solve their problems. They don't need me anymore. That's exactly how it should be. The garage is behind me now. It's empty now. The house belongs to strangers. The family is scattered, but still functioning. And I'm free.